Right then, Villa head up to Anfield on Saturday night, 8 o'clock kickoff, and the numbers 6 and 7 really resonate with that game tomorrow night. Liverpool having lost 6 of their last 7. Can you believe it? And Aston Villa have won 6 of their last 7. Can you believe it? After the start of the season, we had what a massive turnaround it's been, and it's unbelievable to think we're going up to Anfield tomorrow, really fancying ourselves of an opportunity and going and get 3 points, or going at least and getting a result. We wouldn't have said that a few weeks ago, would we, with our start to the season and Liverpool's start to the season? They were really contrasting. And now you look at that league table, it's almost been flipped on its head, and Villa are now level on points after 9 games heading to Anfield, and it's all set up to be an absolute blockbuster at Anfield on Saturday evening, and I cannot wait for this game. Really, really excited for it. 8 o'clock under the lights. I'm not a fan of those 8 o'clock games, especially as a travelling away fan, which I don't go to as many away games as I used to. I used to go to absolutely everything. I don't at the moment, but to watch on TV, it's going to be great. Really looking forward to it. So, yeah, really excited. And is it a good time to play Liverpool, or is it a bad time to play Liverpool? As us Villa fans, we can be quite pessimistic sometimes and think, well, if Liverpool have lost 6 of their last 7, they're not going to lose again. They're going to turn it round at some point. And of course, it's going to be Dr. Villa turn up and they roll us over probably 3-0. But I have felt that as well. I can be that way sometimes, but I think you've got to say it's a good time. It's a good time to play Liverpool. Listen, with the form they're in, we was all expecting them to run away with the league title. It just hasn't turned out to be the case. I don't think it will be now. I think Arsenal look like the runaway leaders, and Liverpool will be fighting for those Champions League spots. They could still turn it around, of course. They've got some unbelievable players. They've got an unbelievable squad. But this is a real test of Arne Slot's mettle now, isn't it? A lot of people will say he was piggybacking off Jurgen Klopp's success. It was all his team. He didn't actually sign anyone last season other than Chiesa, who barely played. And now he's had his way on things. He's made some signings, a lot of signings, and it's not going to plan. But listen, you can't take away from him winning that league title last season in his first year. Jurgen Klopp did only do it once as well. So you got to give him credit for that. But yeah, really excited for this one. Obviously, Villa, so happy after that performance against Man City last week. Still riding high after it. Just been buzzing all week, really bouncing off that result. The last 2 Premier League performances have been outstanding. Going and beat Tottenham away was an outstanding result, and then going to beat Man City at home was even better. I think I said going into these 3 games, it looked like a real difficult set of fixtures. I would have taken 3 points, 3 draws going into those games, and wow, we've already got 6 and could potentially make it 9 from 9, which is unbelievable, and testament to Unai Emery and the squad, who have been absolutely tremendous after the first 5 or so games of the season. And you know, we could definitely go and do it. Villa are more than capable. Our record at Anfield over recent years, not so good. It's got to be said. Last season, I think, was a little bit unfortunate with a couple of penalty incidents. I think we should have probably had a penalty if I think back to it. But listen, Liverpool is such a strong side at home. They don't lose many games. Obviously, they lost to Crystal Palace in the week, 3-0. I don't think we can read too much into that one. Look, we all like to have a little bit of a poke at them and a bit of fun, take the mick out of them. But they literally played all the kids. They barely even played a second string. It was more of an under-21 squad. So I think that was pretty inevitable. They've prioritised this game. They've put everything on this game. So there is a lot of pressure, particularly on Arne Slot, to get 3 points against us tomorrow night. But like I say, generally Liverpool at Anfield, they don't lose many games, if any. I think Forest beat them last year, and that might have been the only game they lost at home. I think maybe one other. I know PSG. I think PSG beat them as well, didn't they, in the Champions League at Anfield, 1-0, took that to penalties. So it's always going to be difficult, and I'd snap your hand off for a point right now. But as I say, Villa are going in great form themselves. Other than that go-ahead Eagles result, we've won 6 of our last 7, our last 4 league games. Can we make it 5? You know, it's as big a test as it comes. But I'm so excited for this game, and it's nice to go to these games with a bit of belief, bit of hope that you can go and get something, because there's so many years go by where you go to teams like Anfield or the Etihad and you just think it's almost like a non-weekend. You're just not going to get anything. But with Unai Emery, we know we can go and take anyone on. Obviously at Villa Park all the time, at Anfield or away. Not always, but I do fancy us to go and get something tomorrow. Looking at the injuries, I'm doing this before Unai Emery's presser, so no confirmation of anything. Something might change. It might have been knocks in training or confirmation, but it looks like we will be without Emi Buendia. He went off last week, didn't he? And it was Jadon Sancho that came on for him. So he left in crutches. He left Villa Park in crutches. Was that precautionary? Yeah, probably, but I think if you leave it on crutches, I don't think 6 days later you're going to be ready to play. So it looks like we're going to be without him. So who fills his spot on the bench? Well, you would say Harvey Elliott, but he will not be eligible for this game, of course, against his parent club, Liverpool. Seen a lot of fans kind of pleading to get him back because, one, I think they kind of miss him, and he was a more important figure at Liverpool than he has been at Villa. He's been non-existent. Unai Emery just hasn't used him at all, didn't make the squad last week, so it's a really interesting one to see how this plays out, particularly in January, to see if there's any sort of clause, whether he goes back or what happens with those 10 Premier League appearances. Really, really strange one, but obviously it probably makes it even more strange that he wasn't involved at all last week is the fact that we knew he couldn't play this weekend or have any involvement, so he's really out of favour at the moment. So the question is, who will come in for Emi Buendia? I think other than that, the squad's going to be pretty much the same, isn't it? With Martinez, Cash, who's up for Player of the Month, and for me, yes, I'm biased, of course I am. I think he deserves it. I think he's been absolutely outstanding. I think he's been Villa's Player of the Season. Again, alongside Boubacar Kamara, almost you feel like Boubacar Kamara won't get the awards because he's just so good every week. It almost just like is an expectation of Boubacar Kamara, but he has been just outstanding, out of this world good for me. But Matty Cash alongside him has been absolutely tremendous. A lot of fans that really give him a lot of stick, unfairly so, as I say every time. Even they're changing their tune and getting behind him, as we should anyway. Whatever you think of any of the players, if they pull on the claret and blue shirt, you should be behind them. But goal last week, he'll be full of confidence, and hopefully he can get that Player of the Month award. Probably not with Mbeumo and Haaland up for it. We know when it comes to an online vote, most of the votes are going to go to Man United, Man City, Liverpool players, aren't they? But fingers crossed, if you haven't already, get on that Premier League website and vote for Matty Cash and vote for Emi Buendia, Goal of the Month as well. And again, Unai Emery's up for Manager of the Month, so vote for him as well. But hopefully that's not the curse. Sometimes we see that Manager of the Month curse. So hopefully we don't fall flat on our face on the 1st of November. But so Matty Cash is going to be in there. Ezri Konsa, again, wow. He has been unbelievable this season. He is so, so good. There was a lot of traction this week, wasn't there, about Konsa or Romero. Tottenham fans just seem desperate to have an argument with Villa fans at any given opportunity. I don't know why. They seem to switch to Newcastle fans because Newcastle beat them the other night. They just don't like getting beat. And considering the amount of times they got beat last season, I don't know why they take it so personally still. They should be used to it by now, but we won't talk about them. But Ezri Konsa has been incredible this season. Could play for anyone. You could see the likes of Liverpool sniffing around him in the summer, especially if they don't get Mark Gay here, which it looks like Real Madrid are interested in him. So see how that plays out. Fingers crossed he stays at Villa forever, because he's been absolutely outstanding. Probably arguably the best centre-back I've seen play for Villa. The way he's just developed and got better and better. He'll be partnering Pau Torres, who's again been terrific over recent weeks. Luca Dean will keep his place as well. He's keeping Maatsen out at the moment. He's been in really good form last few weeks, Luca Dean, and credit to him, because I was calling for Maatsen to come in. But Luca Dean, especially against Tottenham, against Man City, has been brilliant, so fair play to him. Kamara, of course, speaks for himself. He's going to partner Amadou Onana. He's definitely going to start. He was brilliant. For me, he was the man of the match against Man City last week. He covered every blade, didn't he? And some of the blocks, I think he blocked one with his face at one point. He was everywhere, and he does really get himself on board with the fans. I know some people see him as a bit of a cheerleader or whatever. I think it's unfair. We ask for passion, we ask for heart and desire, and he gives it, and he loves it, and he's on board with the fans. We should get well behind that, and people do. So I could see him. Hopefully, if he stays injury-free, he's going to become a real bit of a cult hero for Villa. So hopefully, if he stays fit and we get to see that 50 million price tag pay itself off, really, and more performances like against Man City last week, and it certainly will do so. So he'll be in. John McGinn, of course, with Morgan Rogers, who's slowly getting back to it. Morgan Rogers, he's shown moments where you think he's going to explode back to his best, and it's not quite happened, but I think this could be a game for him tomorrow. I really do think this could be a game. I think Liverpool will leave space on the break. It could be a game for Morgan Rogers, so I'm excited to see him in action. Ollie Watkins will lead the line, of course. He could really do with a goal. I mean, one Premier League goal to his name come end of October. It's not good. I mean, I always say he's guaranteed to end up on about 15 to 20 goals, but he needs to start scoring soon because he's some way off that, isn't he, at the minute? I mean, he started slow last season, but he was still on a handful of goals by now, wasn't he? I think he's been okay, Reece. I think his performance last week against Man City was pretty good. I think he had an influence on the game, held the ball up, occupied the centre-backs. I do think he did well, but he just needs to get that golden touch back because we do need it. We do need those goals from him. So it's who comes in from Buendia, isn't it? Will it be Jadon Sancho, the man that came on and went back off? Tactically, obviously, and because managing his minutes, don't listen to the media in terms of Jadon Sancho was terrible and he got dragged off and his attitude stinks. Okay, he didn't shake Unai's hand when he went off, but he was angry, he didn't want to come off, and that's fair enough. I'd like to have seen him shake his hand, of course, but I can understand why he's frustrated. He probably knows what the media are already writing as he's walking off the pitch. So I understand his frustration, but I had no problem with his performance. I thought he was pretty good last week. I think it was the right time to take him off too. I think Villa needed legs, and the man that came on for him, Evan Gesson, did really well and got stuck in. He was exactly what he needed in the dying minutes of that game. And if it's between the two, of course, Donyell Marlin's in there as well, but I could see Gesson coming back in. I do think Gesson will probably take that position off Buendia. Yeah, I could see, and it wouldn't surprise me to see either of the three, whether it would be Marlon. Probably he's the one I would least expect to come in, but between Gesson and Sancho, I wouldn't be surprised to see either of them start the game. But I do think he'll probably edge with Gesson. But Villa will be a little bit lighter, won't they, with that loss of Buendia and of course Elliott, who wasn't included in the squad. So yeah, the impact off the bench, you'll be looking at the likes of Sancho, Marlon / Gesson or Barkley to have an impact if we need them. But yeah, so I think it's what's worked, and I think I was pretty critical at the start of the season. Not critical, but we were chopping and changing a lot. The centre backs were changing a lot. The forward positions were changing as well. Never felt like we had a settled side, but it feels like now we do have a pretty settled team now. And yes, you've got your starters, your finishers, and there's going to be a couple of positions change here and there, but we feel a lot more settled, and I think that's really helping us. And yeah, like I say, that's why I think there's been weeks where I think a lot of Villa fans have just struggled to pick an 11 or what we think Unai will do. It's just been absolute guesswork, but I think we feel a lot more confident and we can see what we're trying to do now and what team Unai will pick. It's a lot more, not predictable in the sense of we know what can expect Liverpool and know exactly what we want to do or anything like that, but I think we know pretty settled 11s, well 10, 11 sort of players that will play, especially tomorrow night. Interestingly, touching on that, Arne Slot last season, I do remember him saying that he always found Unai Emery's teams, I don't know whether he said easy to play against, but he did say they were predictable to play against, didn't he? I think another manager said it, I can't remember if it was Glasner, potentially said that we set up the same way all the time, which, there is merit in saying that, but hopefully we can spring him a surprise tomorrow, especially in time for bonfire night after his comments last season, where he was a bit pathetic when he was thinking Villa had rolled the red carpet out for Liverpool, who weren't even champions at that point, and got the bonfires, the fireworks out, especially for Liverpool. Just pathetic, man. I find him a bit arrogant, to be honest, so it's nice to see him suffering a little bit, and hopefully we can add to that. But like I say, it is going to be very difficult. But yeah, looking at Liverpool quickly, obviously we've already touched on them. They are going to be without Alexander Isak, I believe, which is a positive. Not because he's in good form. He's been terrible since he's joined Liverpool, which is good to see because the way he conducted himself at Newcastle was disgusting. So hopefully we'll see him suffer and not score many goals at Liverpool. But he's a quality player, so you would expect the goals to start flowing eventually. But I'm just glad he's not going to get a goal against Aston Villa. Fingers crossed if he is out, because it would just be typical. We always seem to be that side where a player, if he needs a goal or his first goal, it will always come against us, won't it? So hopefully he's out. Curtis Jones, I believe, is out as well. Gravenberch, he's been struggling, but there is talk that he is close to a return, so we'll probably see him back tomorrow. Which will be a boost for Liverpool, definitely. But they're without the goalkeeper as well, aren't they? Alisson, I was going to say Edison. I always get them two mixed up. But yeah, they'll be without Alisson. So Marmadashvili will be in goal. He's not been great, has he? To be fair, I think he came in the summer. He's not been great. But just looking at their side now, the full-backs are there to be got at if they stick with that. In terms of Conor Bradley, I think they saw him as like the Trent replacement a little bit. I've never really seen it with him. Again, I can't pretend I've seen loads of him. He always looks a bit, I don't know, a little bit scrawny, a little bit like a boy playing against men. Puts in some big tackles now and again, but for me, not sold on him. But like I say, I can't really judge. I haven't seen too much of him. Kirkes has had a honking start to his Liverpool career. He did score last week, but defensively, always looks like Van Dijk screaming at him as well. So the fullbacks are there to be got at, of course. Ekatike has been brilliant. I think he's been a good signing for them. I think they've messed him about, taking him in and out. Of course, Florian Wirtz is the one I would worry about, not because of the form he's been in. Again, he's been poor in the start of his Liverpool career, but he's just one again. It'd be typical, wouldn't it, if he gets his first goal against us tomorrow? But fingers crossed not. He's not been in great form. Gakpo, obviously Salah hasn't been at his best. He did score last week. Curtis Jones, I think he's out. Szoboszlai. And yeah, they're there to be got at. You know, with the signings they made, you're looking at it and you think, where is it? Where's the form? So you would expect it to come back at some point early on in the season. They were nicking games, weren't they? A little bit luckily. I remember watching them beat Bournemouth. They were 2-0 up. Then it got back to 2-2. Semenyo was brilliant. And they got a couple of fortunate goals at the end. And they were doing that quite a lot of late goals. Penalty against Burnley springs to mind. I think they did it in the Champions League against Atletico Madrid. So they've shown they're there to be got out. They've got a tough week upcoming. They've got Real Madrid on Tuesday night too. Villa in European action this week as well. Maccabi Tel Aviv will be on Thursday. We'll talk about that when it comes around. Hopefully we can talk about stuff on the pitch and not all the stuff going on off it. But yeah, we'll get to that when that game comes around. So bring on tomorrow. I think Villa's last win at Anfield was way back when. I think it was the 2014 season, was it? In the pinstripe white Macron Dafabet kit. I think I wore that last week on one of these videos, actually. I did quite like that shirt. Obviously, we always like the 82 remake shirts, but that was the last time Villa won at Anfield, I believe. I think it was a 1-0 win, Gabi Agbonlahor, I believe, if I remember rightly, or seeing bits on Twitter, what people have said. And I think Philippe Sendros was playing that day. I think he got the assist. So, yeah. There was a period of time Villa did okay at Anfield. I remember one of my first ever away games going to Anfield was the lime green, Lambert's Limes. Benteke was out of this world that day. I think he scored 2 and set up that goal for Vyman. That was such a good away day. I think I was probably in like year 9 or something like that, year 8, year 9. I remember that was just brilliant. Yeah, so we did. I think there was another. I think the following season we might have won there as well in that kind of checkered shirt. I remember Gabby going over the advertising boards and that Liverpool fan taking a picture of him with his old-fashioned camera. But yeah, hopefully we can break that duck. I mean, it's been a long time since we have won at Anfield. Got that draw, didn't we, a couple of years ago? I remember going to that as well. It was a nice hot day in Liverpool. Then Jacob Ramsey scored. I think it was 1-1. I think it was like Firmino might have scored in one of his last games. So yeah, I think at Villa Park we've got a couple of draws against them over the last couple of seasons. So we can get something. I'm feeling optimistic, of course, with the form Liverpool have been in. They're going to be favourites still, and you still would probably expect them to win the game. But Villa are in scintillating form themselves. We've been going under the radar. People really aren't talking about us. I mean, people still talk like, oh, this Villa team's there to be got at. This Villa team's a wounded animal. Like, are you still stuck in August? We're heading into November now. Villa have won 6 of their last 7 games. Like, wake up. That was Villa that was struck. That wasn't Villa. That was the anomaly. This is the Villa. This is the real Villa. This is the Villa that's been of the last 3 seasons. So people need to wake up. Again, they like to ignore us. They'll only talk about the likes of the greedy 6, won't they? So just got to keep going under the radar. Keep winning games of football. And tomorrow, I wouldn't say it's a free hit, but it's if we don't get anything, it's not going to be the end of the world. Out of these 3 games, like I said, 6 points I'd have bit your hand off for 6 points. So let's hope we can add to that tomorrow. But as always, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What would you like to see? Any changes to the team? Who would you like to see come in? If Buendia is out tomorrow night, drop that in the comments. Always love to hear your thoughts. And as always, we'll end it with a big up the Villa.